Hi, I'm Jessica.
And I'm Nick.
And welcome to Audacity Book Club. Woo! All right, guys. So as you can see, me and Nick, our lovely Audacity Book Club curator,
Yes,
we are having some sippies. We are in our cozy hoodies. And we are sipping spiked coffee and a little bit of Chardonnay on the side. We had dinner first. But this is the first ever Audacity drunk review of all the books that we read for the book club in 2021. So stay tuned again, because at the end of this year, we're going to do the same thing for all the books in 2022. And you'll get a special presentation of our newest read, the read of the month, Beast Boy.
yes. Also, the reason why we're wearing so much green,
Also the reason.
There you go.
That's the reason. If you like Teen Titans, you want this.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to let Nick drive the bus on this, and it is your go, my friend.
You know, really, should I be driving anything under the influence? You know what? Never mind. This is why we're doing this once a year, guys.
The virtual bus.
Let's just be clear. This is a once a year, New Year's, you're going to get lit anyway kind of thing. So before y'all thinking this is going to be like a 3 times, 4 times a year, absolutely not.
This is annual. This is absolutely annual. So get your spiked coffee ready, and let's get into it. All right, book number 1.
Book number 1. Failing Up by Leslie Odom Jr.
Get closer to the camera. Get it in there.
I'm trying to get it past the rain.
Oh, it's a glare. Yeah, never mind. Don't do that again.
There you go. Got it right there. Y'all, listen. If y'all been following the book club, it's all on the timeline. On my timeline. On her timeline. On the magazine timeline. Check out the reviews. But this is the self-help / memoir book of Leslie Odom Jr. of Hamilton fame, Aaron Burr. Yes. Not gonna lie, I liked him better than Hamilton. Hamilton seemed like he would be fucking annoying. I'm sorry.
You can curse on here. Yeah, you can curse.
He seems like he'd be fucking annoying. I'm gonna say that now. Like, he'd be cool, like, you love all his ideas, but just like actually talking to him,
his mind is probably like, well, he's dead, but you know,
like it's going a million miles a minute, and it's like it's great stuff, but every day, and then you just know he's doing some trash stuff. That's everybody though.
I will say though, I find it very ironic that Leslie Odom Jr. plays Aaron Burr and that he writes this book, because that's a lot of what Aaron Burr's life, at least in the musical, was depicted to be, where it was a lot of him just kind of waiting his turn. A lot of him just waiting his turn. A lot of him like being like, okay, it's not my time yet. I'm willing to wait for it. And when I tell y'all, that is like the one thing that I hate to hear. There's nothing I hate more than being told, wait. But when you look into this book and you look at Failing Up, it's telling you about the beauty of the wait.
Yeah, and similar to Aaron Burr, it's not like he wasn't successful. Like, you know, he was on shows, he was doing Broadway, he was doing Rent. Like, he was in Rent the movie, I believe. I think so. I think he was in the movie.
I don't remember. I don't know.
Okay, he was either in the movie or the I know he was in the Broadway play, but I don't know if he was in the movie. But he played in Rent, and you know that ain't no little show. So, you know, he was very successful from like 16 all the way up till now. But, you know, the fact of the matter was, like, he wasn't where he wanted to be and doing the things he felt like really captured what he wanted out of his acting career up until Hamilton. So to think like Aaron Burr was successful, but he wasn't getting to the places he wanted to get to up until, you know, he started switching things up and kind of screwing over people. Leslie ain't do that. At least ain't saying it. No. Leslie was very much so like, love what you do while it don't love you back. Or rather, everybody else around you, around your passion, don't necessarily see your talent yet. Love what you do regardless. Fail and try and fail again and then try again and find your mentors, find your people, find your tribe, but in a less obnoxious way. Not going to say that it's not kind of obnoxious. Self-help books I find obnoxious.
Self-help books can be a little bit hard to swallow from time to time.
when you trying to read a self-help book, but you like, that's easy to say from your,
from the top. Yeah, it's
from
easy.
your $1 million house.
It's easy to hear from somebody who is already been through. Like, on one hand, it's like, okay, I'm happy that you can relate to me because you walked through it, I'm walking through, but at the same time, you're now saying this from the other side. And sometimes it can feel like you don't have, like, that people don't have empathy for you when you're in the middle of something versus when they're talking to you from the other side of it.
Yeah.
And though I think as readers and as people, and, as ambitious people who are looking to improve our careers and stuff, that's where we kind of have to do the work on our own to, just say, okay, I get it. I receive it. It's hard for me to hear from where you're standing, but since you've been through it and everything, and I'm in the middle of it, maybe I should listen.
Yeah. Also, it's kind of like a check yourself moment.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I don't like where my career is, and I don't like all the things that I've been doing. And, it's easy to look at it and be like, but you got a career, but you got steady checks, but you got, continuous roles. You at least got a portfolio so that if you want to switch it up, you can do it. And you just kind of lost sight of that. And I ain't even got that part. And it's like, you have to step back, at least for me, because if y'all don't know, I'm actually like writing novels and stuff, full-time writer shit over here. But, I'm thinking all these people, they got all these books and stuff like that. They at least got a debut novel. They at least got an agent. They at least got a stuff.
Right.
And I'm like,
they're already further along than somebody else.
Yeah. And I'm like, but bitch, you already got manuscripts. You got short stories. You got material. You just really need to focus and
put the pressure on yourself. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got to put the pressure on yourself. And I think also too, like, it's good. Like, it's good advice for everyone. It's good advice for anybody who's like trying to move through their careers. Cause it's like, okay, put the pressure on yourself for one, but also for two, like, embrace the journey as you go, because a lot of people are already seeing you and admiring you from where you are. I think a lot of times because we don't embrace the moment, we don't live in the moment, that there are times where we don't realize I prayed for this, years ago. Like, I envisioned this for myself a long time ago. And so sometimes when you're so worried about getting to the next goal, then you don't really have time to actually be grateful and happy and actually feel successful that you've gotten to where you are to begin with. I know I feel that way with Audacity all the time, where I know where I want this magazine to go. I know what I want it to do. I know how I want it to move, and I know where I want it to be. And I can see that we are light years away from where I want it to be. Y'all love what's going on, though. I think, right? Y'all like you like it here?
Well, I mean, I'm a curator of a whole book. So I think that could use a little bite.
But yeah, I mean, it's it's one of those things where, like, I've had to learn as a business owner to accept what I am being told by you guys. When you guys like something, I have to accept that you guys like it, even though I know, like, okay, like, I want more, though. I want more. And it's okay to want more, but also, like, embrace what you have.
Mm-hmm. And that would be the lesson of failing up. Fail and embrace, and then fail and try again and embrace what you got.
Give me this book, Chad. Wisconsin. Next one. Cheers.
All right. Now, the next book, I ain't got a physical copy of it because I actually got that from the library. Go to your local library. Support your local library.
Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. All right, next book is
The Disasters by M.K. England. This is a sci-fi dream. She didn't love it as much as I did, but I love this book.
I like that.
It's not like it's a bad book.
It's a good story. It's a great story, though. Like, and I love that it had so much diversity in it.
Oh my God.
Like, one thing that I've never liked about sci-fi, I think this is one of the reasons that I was deterred by it from time to time, is that a lot of these, like, dystopian worlds or these sci-fi worlds act like Black people just don't exist in the future. And I'm like, well, Black people don't exist in the future. What happened? What'd y'all do? What happened?
I think that's like, that even leads into a bigger issue of, like, it's so monochromatic as far as, like, culture. Like, they act like one culture took over the whole world. And I'm like, one culture don't even take over a whole city, okay?
Exactly.
It's not going, that's so unrealistic unless you got, like, 500 people. And even then it's like, there's a culture among every family. There's a culture among every neighborhood. So that's never going to be realistic. So the fact that that's the dominant theme in a lot of dystopian stories. Like,
it's
I'm
concerning.
Like, weird.
Yeah.
Not
it's
true.
Concerning. It's like, I think more people would be more open to that genre if there was more, or not more of what you're saying, but less of what you're saying. Yeah, like more realistic people.
Right. And this book got it. It got everybody and their mama up in here. They got black characters, Muslim characters, Hispanic characters, Asian characters, transgender characters, aliens.
Aliens.
I don't know. Wait, I don't think it has aliens. It has people born on other planets, which I think are technically aliens, but they're still humans because their families are like
I say they're still
humans.
Yeah, they're humans. Yeah, they just live on other planets.
Yeah.
That'd be different.
It would be
That
so
would be
weird.
so different. You're like, oh, where are you from? Mars. What? Yeah. Well, I was born on the moon, but I grew up on Mars.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think what I love about this book.
Sorry.
It's very true.
I'm sorry. Yes, what you love about the book
Is that it's nonstop action, literally from like page 20 to like the last 5 pages.
Yeah.
It's like shit gets blown up and they got to go to 20 different planets and they got to fight the police. I'm gonna keep that to myself.
That's realistic.
That's realistic. Getting framed by a secret part of the government that's trying to take over because they don't agree with taking over other planets. They're Earth first people, and I'm just I get you. And to a certain degree, I agree, because do we really have the authority to try and take over another planet? We couldn't even take over this one. We couldn't even handle this one.
Well.
But I'm also like, they like 100 years into this. It's too late.
Yeah, that's true. The colonization has already begun.
Okay, they started this shit in like the late decades of the 2000s, and it's 2094.
Yeah.
Happy 200th birthday to me and Jessica.
200. Oh God, in 2094.
21.
Oh God, in 2194.
Like, just imagine. It's like, I get you, but the time is too late. This is literally like a Jan 6 riot. Like, it's the Jan 6 riot, but on a interplanetary scale. Like, it's too late. It's too late. You should have accepted it. Instead, you're trying to cause trouble. You hurting people, killing people for nothing. You should not have been out there. You should have accepted it. It's too late.
Ooh.
Actually, I think that's a very good summary.
Well, on that note, that being said, on a side note, we do recognize that yesterday was January 6th, and we are looking forward to seeing those terrorists being held accountable for nearly trying to kill our entire Congress.
And take over with no plan. Cheers. On to the next one. I actually have this one.
Yay! Yes. Mexican Gothic.
Okay, I know y'all really can't see because of the...
No, they can see that one because of the color.
Okay.
Yeah, they can see that one.
Look, I still have to kind of angle it.
Yeah, you have to angle it. You can't put it down or anything.
Yeah, but literally this cover is the reason why I got this book. This dress, fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. I want the dress.
Yes. So, this one about... Naomi going to see her white in-laws that are trying to colonize Mexico.
I don't know how to do all that cutting. But okay, but that being said, this is a commentary. There are undertones of the European colonization of Mexico that are included in here. So Naomi is indigenous Mexican, and her cousin marries into a European English family specifically. English. Yes, his name is Virgil. There's no way he's Spanish. He's definitely English. Yes. So Virgil is who her cousin ends up marrying, and she begins receiving alarming letters from her cousin, basically saying that she believes that her husband is trying to kill her, and that she is trapped in this house, and the family won't let her leave. It's giving a lot of Meghan Markle vibes, honestly. On a smaller scale, this is not nearly as horrific, or this is way more horrific than what Meghan Markle went through in the UK, though that was also really, really bad. But yeah, this is also a horror novel. This was our October read, so this was literally horrible. But yeah, it was a lot of Get Out, Meghan Markle vibes for this book. It was literally if you wanted a more feminist take on Get Out, it was
it was pretty much that, because it took place in Mexico. It took place with the indigenous female.
Mm-hmm.
From that perspective, she was still rich. Like, her family was still, you know, very affluent in Mexico City. So, you know, that ain't no small feat. But it was still like, you have these, you know, in these outsiders that, you know, any other group would have been called immigrants. Right. But, you know, they were aristocratic. They had no money, but aristocratic, very much so of the noble mindset. So a lot of it was them trying to, like, say, well, you're so exotic, but you need to follow our rules in our house, and this is how things are always going to be, and all this and all that. So it was very much so, I know I'm a guest, but I'm going to take over like I'm not, and you're going to respect me because I said so.
And Naomi and her cousin ended up being guests in Naomi's home. So,
well, no, in the Katerina.
Oh, Lord have mercy. You're correct. Because Naomi went to Katerina's house. Yeah. Yes. So one thing I really loved about this book is that it has all of these, it has so much social commentary, both on, not just on race and class, but internalized, not internalized racism per se, but community versus internalized racism, like the opposite of internalized racism, which is where these ladies mostly found a lot of their assistance from Virgil's family within their community, even though the family tried to keep them far, far away. Like, the house was like all up on this hill and everything, away from everybody. And, you know, there was really like a strong attempt to isolate and almost, what's the word I want to use? And for lack of a better term, I guess, create like a level of erasure of their own culture and their own community. So what I really loved about reading this is that part of their salvation was returning to their community.
Yeah, it was definitely a return to community. Also, the women in the Doyle family, it was Virgil Doyle is the British family, English family. But the women in that family, not the living aunt in the house, but literally the dead women of the family were being helpful because they were giving clues. They were telling the truth. They were trying to tell their story of how horrific this house is, of how they've been betrayed in this house, of all the things. Like, it's been so much, like, they can't get out either. And they're the ones being like, well, this is the truth. I'm trying to show you the truth.
Right. They're also rediscovering their agency even in death, which is great. Because even though, like, unfortunately, that's what had to happen in order for them to be free. But now, like, they're finding freedom as they're helping free these women, which I really love, because I feel like as women, if we were, like, at the end of the day, misogyny was created by men, and therefore there's no one to blame for misogyny but men. But that being said, I feel like if women could continue to be a more united front, then we could all get out of this proverbial house of misogyny that we're all trapped in right now.
Yeah, and that quote of, like, he has the head, but the woman moves the neck. Let's just be clear about something. In this book, it showed you shit don't move without the women.
Literally. No, literally. Stuff starts moving in this house. Like, there are things there's like mushrooms popping up, and like there's actual shit moving around in the house.
Yeah, but literally, like, nothing huge, whether it's for good or bad, happens without these women. Like, the men may try to drive something, but the women are the key. So y'all out there need to remember that. Before you think you just an assistant, remember, shit don't move without you either.
Period.
Okay.
Set.
Okay, I think it's time hit.
Started?
You know what? Calm down. Oh gosh. Okay.
All right, I'll take this. Okay. All right. Our next book. We don't have a hard copy of that one today.
I do not. I actually bought it, but then I sent it to my cousin who wanted to read the book.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Share is caring, guys. Share your books.
Please share your books.
Loan them. Give them back. But loan them, share them, read them to kids. Don't read Poet Warrior to kids. They might be a little too young for that.
Read that book to them kids.
Really?
Read that book to them. Actually, because it's not as explicit. Like, of course,
that's true. That's true.
Read it.
We know what's going on. Yeah, that's true.
But it's actually not very explicit. I mean, of course, there's some like curse words and stuff, but
we can get past that.
Yeah. Once they hit like 10, 12, I think it's fair.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Okay, that's true.
Yeah. But Poet Warrior by Joe Harjo.
Harjo.
Joy Harjo.
That's a little bit of a tongue twister.
It is a bit. A little
Yeah.
bit.
Can you say it 5 times fast? Joy Harjo.
Joy Harjo, Joy Harjo, Joy Harjo, Joy Harjo, Joy Harjo. I think that,
Yeah. Okay.
Poet Warrior by Joy Harjo.
A real indigenous woman. I believe she lived in New Mexico, Arizona. No, Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Okay. She's from Oklahoma, lives in the Southwest still to this day. The National Poet Laureate of 2019, and I ain't gonna stop saying it because she deserves to be known. I ain't know that till literally I read this book last year. So.
She's also the first Indigenous Poet Laureate, if I recall correctly.
Yep.
And should not have been.
And should not have been the first. Like, and when I say should not have been the first, I'm saying there should have been an Indigenous Poet Laureate way before 2019.
Yeah. Granted, beautiful poetry, wonderful verse. I need to get a poetry volume by her.
Yeah, I'd love to get one.
You know, this book was, to get back on topic.
Yes,
this book was a mix of a memoir and a poetry book talking about her journey through, you know, childhood to adulthood and becoming, you know, going from girl warrior to poet warrior, which she recognizes as herself today, which was a title given to her by her ancestors. Very spiritual book, very real book.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I just love it. I love this book, honestly.
It's interesting because, like, even though you're learning about her,
taking away a lot of lessons that you can very generally apply to your life as well. I feel like the idea where she said she can never like stop finding garden snakes when she goes somewhere. Because that's what was tying her to who she was, you know, to her culture and everything. And I feel like, I mean, even as a Black person, like, you can't go anywhere without seeing something about Black culture.
Right.
Especially here in Atlanta. Like, you can't go anywhere without hearing hip hop. You can't go anywhere without without smelling something that reminds you of like soul food. You know, you can't go anywhere without seeing some kind of like beautiful artwork that, as we know, everything is rooted in Africa. Like, you can't go anywhere without seeing something that reminds you of your roots and everything. So I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah. Now let me tell you, I was in a mall or something in China. I smelled something and I was like, ooh, that smelled just like Lowry's.
Oh,
got right.
Not the Lowry's.
But one thing I really love about this novel is
how like it shows how she was influenced by different cultures. Because I feel like, especially like Black people, we get caught up in like, you know, if we do have influences from other cultures outside our own, there's a bit of shame kind of brought around that. Like there's this feeling of like, yeah, like I want a magazine like Vogue, but at the same time, I can't like forget like, you know, Jets and the Ebonies and all this stuff.
Right.
And it's like, but if you're inspired by Vogue style, there's nothing wrong with being inspired by Vogue style.
There's something about Vogue that says it has to be white either.
Yeah.
like, I think one of the things, and I think she kind of shows this in her work as well. Like,
you know, again, with the garden snake analogy, like your culture is you and everything that's inside of you, and you can take it anywhere, you can find it anywhere, and you can put it anywhere that you want to.
Yeah, and it also shows like
how persistent her spirituality is, even when she wasn't actively like listening to her ancestors. She was trying to do her own thing. She was trying to be on her own. Her ancestors gave her the grace to come back to them and to really be open and really be ready when she was ready.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like people kind of get shamed a lot for losing their way and losing their, you know, spirituality or losing their faith in something. Mm-hmm. And it's like, life is the longest thing you can do. I promise you, you have every opportunity as long as you breathe to come back. And he will, like, whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, will accept you with open arms. But you have to have that genuine faith within yourself, that honesty within yourself.
Yeah.
So that's all I got to say about that. Read the poetry.
Read the poetry.
Buy the book.
Buy the book. And the prose. Read the prose too.
Mm-hmm. And we're back.
And we're back. All right, guys, we have one more book to get through.
All right.
And this is actually one of the reasons why we are drinking spiked coffee tonight before the coffee gets cold.
Can you see that? Can you see that?
Yeah, that is a glare. It's so much white.
It's because of the white, yeah. But I mean, if you read the book, you know what it looks like.
If you read the review, you know what it looks like.
You know what it looks like. That's the book. That is the book.
Yes.
So
this
is super cool.
Yes, this follows the Japanese tradition of you think you know what you're about to read and then you don't. You think you know what it is and then you don't. I watched a Japanese movie yesterday and I thought it was going to be all fun, happy-go-lucky. This was not. It got to that halfway point. I was like, oh my God.
The elements of surprise. The elements of surprise.
I will say that no matter what, every time I read like Japanese literature or watch like a Japanese anime or a movie, there's always an element of surprise. I never know what the heck is actually going to go on. I'm lulled into a false sense of security, and then it's just it just flips on me.
Oh,
Okay, this one. I almost cried reading this one, not gonna lie. It was the sister story. I'm a spoil. Well, of course, this is a spoiler.
This is a spoiler alert.
Yeah. The third story, when the sister dies because like she's been trying to come to this cafe this whole time, and her sisters avoided talking to her, and then on her way back to the city where she lives in, she gets in a car accident, passes away, and then the sister is like, I need to go back in time to fix this.
make things
like,
right.
My sister lives out of town for me, and I'm just like,
oh.
Like that, oh my God, it almost got me.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to cry, like, when I'm reading books. Movies are different because there's like,
you can see it. You can literally see it. Yeah.
But like reading that, I was like, oh my God, I would relate so much. Not because I would deny my sister the visits, but because like feeling the need to fix something when they're not there.
Like not being able to imagine like you have unresolved business
and you've lost your opportunity at that point.
Yeah. So and I think like that's the best part about this book is like technically nothing, in the present changes. Like whoever had to go still went to the places that they had to go.
Yeah.
But like the person themselves found the closure that they needed in the story. And it wasn't perfect. And it wasn't like well scripted. And a lot of the times they were kind of fumbling, trying to force something.
Right.
And yet they still found a way to get closure because, it wasn't the closure that they thought they needed, know? Like for the first, I can't remember all the names, I'm sorry guys. But like for the lover story, it wasn't the guy not going to America. It was him promising to come back. For the wife, it wasn't, getting the letter and following what her husband requested. It was her finding her own identity and embracing herself as his wife again.
Yeah.
And then like, okay, for the sister, her finding peace within this thing that she's been running from for all these years. And then in the last story, the mom finally meeting her daughter in the future, where everybody was going in the past, she went to the future. So
you can go to the future too.
Yeah. But she, her meeting her daughter that she was scared she would never meet because the pregnancy was so hard on her. Like all these things, like it really changed the person themselves. It gave them closure that they needed. And I think it really just showed like a lot of the time our idea of closure is something very different than what we think, than what we actually need from somebody. And it's really like within ourselves to find. Sometimes it does need a conversation from somebody else, but a lot of the times it is like coming to terms of what it was. Yeah. And all the things that we were running from. A lot of it was
acceptance.
Yeah. A lot of it was just being honest with ourselves. And that's what this crazy but wonderful book shows you. Be honest with yourself and you'll find all the closure that you'll need.
Definitely pick this up, guys. It's by
Toshikazu Kawaguchi. Yep, Toshikazu Kawaguchi, excuse me. As Before Coffee Gets Cold is one of our favorites.
And there's a sequel that is out now that we will be reading in 2022 at some point. Probably in the summer. Probably.
Summer?
I think summer.
I want it for spring.
You want it for spring?
I want it for spring.
I can do it for spring.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
back. All right, guys. We are coming to the end of our drunken review and moving into our drunken introduction of
Beast Boy. This is actually the second book in this comic series. The first one was Raven, but we decided to go with Beast Boy. Give you a little, little something different.
Yeah, throwing something for the guys,
for the guys. But yes, this is based on your favorite Teen Titan, Ye Old Beast Boy. He was actually a fan favorite, I would say, from what I've seen over the years. My favorite was Raven.
I was going to say, a lot of people I know like Raven.
Yeah, like I feel like they tried to push like Robin and Starfire as the favorites, and
they wanted that so badly. They wanted that so bad. Personally, I feel like Starfire was comic relief. Beast Boy was supposed to be the comic relief, but I feel like Starfire actually was.
Yeah, because Beast Boy got like he
he like was the key to all the deep storylines. Like
Yeah.
stuff was going on in the Beast Boy story, and you're just like, oh, this was deeper than I thought.
Though I will say this, Cyborg also gets slept on, even though he's the only character who got included in the Justice League. I'm just saying. He's the only character who got included in the Justice League movie with Cyborg. So
Young Justice do Cyborg right. Y'all ain't do nothing with him yet. I need y'all to get him right. I'm watching the season.
Right by Cyborg. No, okay. I really hope the Injustice continues to do well because I actually like Injustice.
But yeah, so this is actually a little bit of a switch up of the tempo of our previous reads. This is something easy for everybody because it is a graphic novel.
Yeah.
Show the book.
I can't show the book.
I can't see it.
It's
Okay.
like a lot of watercolor too. That don't
It's a comic book. It's a very thick comic book, basically. Hence, what a graphic novel is.
Yeah.
So you're actually going to be seeing his origin, which I actually never got the full scope of. So I'm actually really excited to read this one.
Yeah.
But it is
like a different, like Gen Z kind of
Yeah.
intro to his origin story because he's actually like in a small town in Georgia, like very different than like the original show.
I just love that he's in Georgia.
Like very different from the show
Yeah.
and like all the previous iterations of him, but you know, it still goes through like basically what happened in the similarly in the all the other media for him. Honestly, I picked this because I was tired of being introspective and being, you know, tired and sad on
Fun.
That's like
Want to be fun.
yeah, like the books are great and I love the books that we pick, but sometimes I'm just like, I just want to read something that's just fun. That's just fun.
And you're the curator. We can read fun stuff as much as you want to,
We can
technically.
read fun stuff, but it's also like it starts off fun and then it's like, oh no. I feel like that might just be more of like me than
Like, there has to be conflict in the book. There has to be
conflict in the book.
Like,
And I'm
this has conflict.
this does have conflict, but it's definitely, I think it's because like it is Teen Titans, it is a superhero thing, and it's something so familiar to us. Like it's
True. Yeah.
it's less daunting than all
That's
the
true.
other books. Yeah, and this one, and I found this book because I've been following the artist Gabriel Picolo. He's a Brazilian artist. I found him on Instagram many years ago. Very, very talented. I would suggest that you go follow him on IG and all like that. You would be very pleasantly surprised. But he actually started like drawing Teen Titans fan fiction and was like, you know, would be on Twitter like, man, I wish this was a thing. I wish I could like do a comic. And lo and behold, years later, did the damn comic.
Sometimes you gotta shoot your shot.
Manifest it.
You gotta shoot your shot and manifest it.
You want a deeper meaning? This is manifested.
This is manifesting your career. It is.
But yes, this is Beast Boy by Cami Garcia and Gabriel Picolo. Pick it up. Go borrow it from the library. Enjoy yourself.
And
be yourself.
that is the end.
End of our annual drinking review. So,
If you guys like what you saw, comment below. If you hate it, please message us privately. Don't embarrass me.
please just message me privately if you do not like this video. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, and what would you like to see in 2022? Please let us
know. You might see it on the read. You might see it on the list.
Yes, just know we have very exciting, wonderful mixture of things coming this year. This will be our first full year doing the book club.
What is happening?
This will be our first year doing a full year, so we're very excited. I'm very excited.
I'm very excited.
I can't wait to pick the books that I don't know yet. Y'all just let y'all know. Sometimes these are very last minute and sometimes these are very well planned in advance. So
But they're very well chosen.
very well chosen. I'm not gonna pick a book that I ain't read.
We will see you guys at the end of the month, well, at the beginning of February, with our review on Beast Boy. And until then, don't forget to
Read audaciously.
Bye.
Bye guys.